that where you go to high school where it's like you got to get like a 94 and above to get an A, one of those things? Yes. Where was your GPA?
I don't recall.
Tim, where'd you go to high school?
Collinswood.
Collinswood. Were you class valedictorian in Collinswood? No. Sterling right there. It was. Chief, where'd you go to high school, Chew?
St. James down in Pensgrove.
St. James. How many kids were in your graduating class? Like 5?
75.
Were you class valedictorian with 75 people?
Maybe from about that. Just kidding. Yeah.
What's your GPA? You remember high school?
Close to 3, around there. Under 3.
So was mine.
Even better. Should be better.
It's like a 275.
Yeah.
You got like a 900 SAT. You know?
No, you didn't.
I got like a 900 SAT, that's all. Yeah. But those days it was worth 1,600, not 2,400. Probably wouldn't get too much more than 2,400 right now. So. Shanahan, where'd you go to high school?
Whitefish High School, Whitefish, Montana.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
Wow. Was there 6 kids in your class, or?
We had moose that would walk.
All right, so the $1 million question is, did you score better on your test than the moose did?
We had the moose for dinner.
I love it. So,
Poor moose.
yeah. Poor moose was just on a little walk.
Yeah, but we did it because you scored higher.
Anyway,
Nancy, where'd you go to high school? Cornell. All right. And your GPA was easily over 3.0. I know that. Yeah. You were close to 4.0. Yeah. Yeah. Were you over 4.0? Okay, we're close. See the best for last on that one. Mary Lou, where'd you go to high school?
Cedar Ridge.
Cedar Ridge, New Jersey?
That one.
Oh, cool. Was your GPA? You forget it? Yeah. Okay. You and Gillespie and Tom are going to the same school, I say. Zane, where'd you go to high school?
Shout.
Shalleck.
Yeah, down south.
Good. What was your graduating class? About 100?
No, we were the biggest to ever go through there. 180.
180. Biggest ever.
they Cherokees was what 566. One of the
Wow.
larger classes. Mine was about 400.
Mhm.
So,
cool.
Really changed over time.
Sandy, were you all? Did they have high schools when you were at the age? Or did you just have? We're still homeschooled back then.
We were in the cave. But I went to Cheltenham High School.
Cheltenham.
So.
Over 3.0?
Yep.
Oh, of course. Sandy. Were you class valedictorian?
No, I was president of the school.
President of the school. Not surprising. You didn't even realize anything. All right, awesome. Tom, I'm kind of killing time here so you can be set up here.
Is that what you've been doing?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sitting here looking at him, and I'm looking at a blank screen. Thanks, guys. Thanks for coming. Great job.
That's what we didn't want to distract you.
I keep looking at a blank screen. We got a budget going on, but that's all right. We have 4 valedictorians that just walked out the room, so our bar is a lot lower now. Here we go, Tom.
All right, so let's walk you through this. One of the complications this evening is that there is a resolution on which would now then amend the budget. So it's likely we will do the budget adoption at a special meeting on the 27th, but we're still going to have a public hearing on the budget. Specifically, that's Resolution 193 dealing with the School Resource Officer Program, which is an agreement that if you accepted and executed and the Board of Education accepted, we would adjust the budget by approximately $250,000. So let me just walk you
Before the record, Tom, this is the same PowerPoint you did before.
essentially.
Yeah.
So what we first have to do is we have to adopt Ordinance 13-3. What this ordinance is, and have a public hearing on it. What this ordinance is the state sets a cap on how much you can add to your appropriations in any given year by 3.5%. And then what you don't use, you can bank. If you ever have an emergency, then you don't have to go to the state to get approval. So first thing we have to do is act on ordinance 13-6,
Yes.
which is the model ordinance to exceed the appropriations limits and bank, not actually bank, but reserve for the future if we ever needed it, the difference.
Okay. So you want to do that before your presentation then?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, so I need a motion to adopt ordinance 13-6-2017, please.
So moved.
Need a second.
Second.
Mary Lou, please poll the council.
Mr.
Well, wait,
Excuse me?
this is the second reading. Does that have to go public?
No, this is just a
No,
resolution.
no, it's a resolution.
Titles, you
Yeah.
just go ahead.
I apologize. I thought that I'm reading this wrong.
John, this is ordinance 13-6.
Oh, this is the ordinance, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yes.
That's in the public hearing.
Thank you,
Right,
sir.
but we're going to do the public hearing after we adopt the ordinance, correct?
No. This is, you need a motion to open to the public. It's an ordinance.
All right. So what are you doing up then? What are you doing up?
Typically, no one talks about this, so I was just going to jump right into what happened.
All righty, here we go. Here we go. So, John, do you want me to introduce the ordinance at all? Do you want me to introduce the ordinance?
The ordinance was already introduced.
Yes.
For second reading.
No, I understand that. But do you want me to do anything with this ordinance right now? Or do you just want me to open public hearing on the budget right now?
No, you're not gonna open the public hearing on the budget until you adopt resolution 160,
Okay, let's,
which is right below ordinance 13-6. So you can do two things. You can have Tom do his full presentation, right? That won't trigger the ordinance. He can do his presentation. I'm assuming somewhere within his presentation, he's already going to give you a quick explanation of this ordinance 13-6, which is the same ordinance that you would adopt every year. It may not be numbered 13-6, you adopted it last year, you adopted it 15. It is the capital, right? So you can do all this preliminary stuff by having Tom go through his PowerPoint, and then you can move to a second reading, public hearing on 13-6. You can then vote to adopt resolution 160, read the budget by title. You can then have a public hearing on the budget, and then you will have to table the adoption of the budget until you have enough people here to adopt it.
and the budget amended.
Okay.
So it makes it easier. Let Tom do his thing, and then we'll come back to you.
Perfect. Yep.
Sorry about that.
It's where you're.
Okay then.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. Okay, so this is, I'll go through this presentation rather quickly. I won't spend as much time on it because we've done this 2 or 3 times already. But as we're having a public hearing tonight, we'll start by explaining that the municipal portion of the budget represents about 15 cents on the dollar. But we collect it on behalf of everyone else, and if you include open space, it's about 16 cents, or 16%. Next. And there it's demonstrated on the dollar bill. For every $100 you pay, that's how much comes into the municipality for our local purpose operations. Okay, next. Okay, the budget is built largely on our valuation. Our valuation is $5.2 billion. We had a drop of $4.6 million over 2016 due to a number of long pending commercial tax appeals that were in the state courts. They were settled, but fortunately, we also added $30 million in new rateable growth. So we were a little shy, but we expect with all these tax appeals out of the way that 2017 is going to be a good year in terms of rateable growth. Next.
How does that rateable growth compare to our sister towns?
The rateable growth itself is terrific compared to neighboring towns, but the net, as you see this year.
No, I understand the net. I wasn't asking that. I was asking just
Yes,
in terms of rateable growth.
Well,
It appears as our neighboring towns may not have had the success.
and I think that's captured in this slide, which is a newspaper article, a magazine article that talked about the 10 hottest suburbs, and Evesham was named one of them. So, just show you some major highlights here, or went over our equalized valuation. We are allowed to have 3.5% of that as debt. So that's $181 million in debt that we're allowed, but we're far below that at $49 million. So we have a lot of capacity, and we do a good job managing our debt levels. Next. One of the big challenges goes back to when, goes back at least 10 years, is to create a much healthier surplus picture for the community. Back in 2008 area, we were coming off a school deferral program where we're deferring school taxes and becoming really addicted to having that in our surplus. That has now gone away, and we don't rely on that anymore, and we build our surplus up naturally. So our ratios have been creeping up a little bit as far as how much surplus we utilize every year. So we've built a budget to make sure we stay below the 70% level. And the reason I highlighted growth, our strong rateable base, our strong debt position, and our surplus utilization policy is all these things have resulted in a credit rating for our bonds from AA3 to AA2, which is excellent. So we want to continue to be stable in our funding, fund balances, make sure we have that great surplus, and continue to grow the tax base, which we're doing, to maintain that. So obviously, using all the tools available to develop that strong rateable base, including redevelopment, has been key, and we spent a lot of time talking with the Moody's bond analysts about everything we're doing to promote growth in our town. At the same time, we survey our residents that have been here a year. We ask them how we're doing compared to their former municipalities, and we're getting excellent responses. And so how you would describe the quality of life in Evesham? 98% responded good or excellent. How would you rate the quality of our services? 89% responded good or excellent. And we track that every month. Benchmarks we look at all the time is how we compare in our budget against, on a per resident basis, against our neighboring towns, some of the larger ones, and there you see we're at $783, one of the lowest, the lowest amongst this group.
Remember, that's not the overall tax bill, that is just the municipal tax.
That's just the budget. Again, the lowest against the 10 largest towns, just looking at the budget per customer. Compared to the county, lower than the county average, lower than the Camden County average, and lower than the state average by half. But then the budget isn't everything. It's not the only way to look at it. The other way to look at it is how much are you actually charging your residents? So what is the tax levy per capita? And in this instance, we're slightly below Mount Laurel, but I would point out that Mount Laurel has $2 million in hotel taxes coming in, which we don't have the benefit of. And then this is a very telling chart, one that we're proud of. If you look at the average increase on property taxes between 2008 and 2016, we've gone up $87, and the average is $322. Okay, so we want to maintain stability, provide services. Some of the budget drivers were the SRO program, the legacy of golf course debt, landfill fees have been increasing. Our snow removal contract is, that line item has been going up over the years as we've taken over some of the roads that the county used to handle. And we're doing more road projects in our capital budget. Property valuations are slightly down to appeals, but rateable growth is strong. We remain one of the lowest property tax towns in the county. Residents are satisfied with our services, and in our capital improvement plan, we have a considerable number of roads that we do and other infrastructure. So in summary, the budget that we're proposing is $36.4 million. The increase on the tax rate would be from 0.415 to 0.430. I would call your attention to the note. This assumes approval of the SRO agreement. Under the 4.430, the increase on the average assessed home would be about $39.55 for the year. And you have a little fact sheet that breaks that down on a monthly, quarterly basis. And the overall revenue that this would generate would be $744,000. Next down. So basically, the main drivers there are we're looking to replace 4 police officers to make up for what we put into schools. And as I've said, we've now incurred some golf course debt within the operating budget because of the balloon nature of the debt structure that was agreed to many years ago.
For all of us.
Yes, for all of you. So that's the budget in summary.
Thank you. All right, so Mr. Gillespie, now I'm going to adopt ordinance 13-6-2017 first, or you need to do resolution 160-2017 first?
We're not going to adopt, we're going to open up public hearing.
Okay. And then when do you want to do 160-2017 after public hearing?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And then what are we going to do with 13-6-2017?
Well, you can adopt it after you have public hearing.
That's what I'm saying. So you want public hearing now?
Yeah.
Then we'll go to,
Just on that cap ordinance.
Move to adopt that ordinance.
Correct.
Then you will have resolution 160.
okay.
Then you have the standard.
After you adopt one.
Understood.
No public hearing ordinance. Allows you to read the budget by title, you adopt that, then you have a public hearing.
Understood.
Okay. So right now, anybody in public wishing to comment on the entire municipal budget has the opportunity now, right?
No,
Ordinance.
just
Ordinance
okay.
13 establishes the capital.
Okay. So,
Capital.
all right. Okay. So now what I do is I need to open public hearing on ordinance 13-6-2017, please.
So moved.
Okay. Need a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay. Seeing there's no one, I need a motion to close public hearing on ordinance 13-6-2017, please.
So moved.
Need a second?
Second.
Mary Lou, please poll the council.
Mr. DeAndrea?
Aye.
Mrs. Zoe?
Aye.
Mayor Brown?
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0.
Okay.
You now need a motion to adopt resolution 160-27.
Okay. I need a motion to adopt resolution 160-2017, please.
So moved.
Need a second?
Second.
Comments? Mary Lou, please poll the council.
Mr. DeAndrea?
Aye.
Mr. Zoe?
Aye.
Mayor Brown?
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0.
Okay, so now we go to public hearing on the budget.
And then 161 gets delayed.
We already tabled 161?
No, we
Yeah,
tabled.
we didn't table that yet. Okay.
And that gets tabled.
All right, anybody in the public wishing to comment on the budget, please step forward.
Hi, Rosemary Bernardi, 10 Halifax Court East. Thank you, Tom and Tom, for putting together a budget. I know how difficult it is to do that. Two things. One is regarding road improvements. I believe you have $800,000, I think, for road improvements or around that figure. I was wondering if we could potentially not put so much in surplus and really put more towards road improvements, only because that's a day-to-day issue that people deal with, from a town's perspective. So I was wondering if we could reallocate some funds that way. The other thing is regarding two other things is I believe for like a historic preservation program, I believe there's like $100,000 in one of the line items. So I was wondering if also we could start to not put so much in surplus, but really start to do some more work towards historic preservation in town. We have the house on, I'm sorry, what?
Elmwood.
Elmwood, thank you. The house on Elmwood Road, if we could reallocate some of that money. Instead of just having it in surplus, you know, we start actually doing some more projects. And then the third thing is really the Inglis House sidewalk issue. I know it's earmarked for a grant, but it's for 2018. You know,
No.
really,
The grants now.
we haven't
Inglis.
heard back, right?
And we would anticipate to hear about the grant.
Yeah.
Yes, but instead of waiting, I mean, could we start the work? We do have the
I've
money in
asked that
surplus. Oh, so the
Believe
answer?
me, I've asked
Oh, right.
that in anticipation, not that I got yelled at too much, but I'm very much a hawk on that, so I'll be on that one.
Mayor-
Okay, so,
Mayor, may I comment on the road?
Yep.
Rosemary, I think what you're referring to is what we're canceling from the operating budget and placing into surplus. So I think that 800 number is a little old, because, so there's two components of that. One is we still have, as we enter the new year, we still have bills that are coming in from the old year, so we have to create a reserve account to pay off those. So that number is somewhat less than that, but the second thing, the road budget isn't just for asphalt, it's for other aspects, it's for snow removal and other services. So what we do every year is we more or less fold the same amount into surplus, except when there's an emergency. And we can go through $500,000 in 2 months worth of horrible weather.
oh, right.
So what happens is we return that money to the taxpayers and we say, okay, this is what we're building our budget on, we're going to pull that out for the next budget. But it stops us from having to issue emergency tax notes, which just isn't good fiscal management and allows us to respond right away without having to have emergency meetings and those sort of things, or they're called tax anticipation notes. So, which is just a very bad signal to Wall Street and others. Something you want to avoid completely. So we consistently do this. You just never know when an emergency is going to pop up.
I guess, and I hear that in terms of an emergency situation. I guess then maybe my request will be whether or not we can allocate more than for road improvement then. And not really take from emergency or surplus, but really move out of surplus and use more, do more from roads.
We fund roads out of the capital budget, for which we issue bonds, capital bonds, and every year we've increased slightly how many roads we're doing, and there's a pretty good map on the manager's website that shows road conditions and what's coming out and what we've accomplished.
Yeah, I'd like to see, like, I don't know what the yellow is the,
You're right, they're all colored.
yeah, whatever the most, the one that needs the most attention, I'd like to see all that color, you know, the red, if the red is the designation, all the reds eliminated. So just, that would be my request list. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else on the budget, please step forward.
Phil Warren, 357 Holly Road. Mr. Chairman, thank you for explaining the road repair maintenance part. I had a similar question. I saw $3.95 million in surplus. We're still taking over 800,000 from the MUA. Is there any chance to give that back and still be sitting pretty with a $3.1 million surplus? Do we have to take that? I know we don't, but is there an actual necessity? As you all look back and forth at each other. All right, so I would request that you cut that out and let the MUA reinvest that in infrastructure, which they're trying to do. I saw that the loans were up by about $530,000 from 2016, and kind of generally just wondering what the driver is of that.
It's the golf course debt.
Okay. Speaking of the golf course, that, don't take it personally, but it looks like a subsidized mess for the taxpayers. Over $1 million, up $400,000 from 2016 in open space funds going towards it. The debt service is going up, and the surplus is down. I think I recall it was, if you round it up, it was almost $1 million when it was first taken over directly. Now it's down to 30. So I was hoping that there might be some plans for that to actually turn it around. I know people say that, I've heard before that it would make money. It'd be making money if you just, didn't count all the debt and everything. But you can't, just do that. It is not making money because you have all this debt. So I was wondering if there was some sort of long-term plan, because looking at that part of the budget is really disturbing from a financial point of view.
So what's happened, when the debt for the golf course and all the improvements in the clubhouse was initially issued, they did a balloon payment, okay? And then there was a surplus in the actual trust, the golf course utility fund. So every year, what operations, like the fees and stuff, couldn't cover, we were drawing from the surplus. So what's happened now is that surplus has been exhausted.
Right.
And so revenue's been stable and it's been good. It's just, I guess when they planned the debt, they thought there'd be inflation, or they thought golf would keep growing in popularity. Who knows? I don't know. I wasn't here then. But the good news is we're about, I forget now exactly, but we're not that far away where much of that balloon debt's going to be retired, and the community is going to benefit from whatever profits are generated from the golf course in the future. So that is the plan. We're trying to manage it very carefully. We're trying to study the market in debt. We're trying to make sure that the fees we're charging are very appropriate for the clientele. And now we're making some modifications to perhaps attract new clientele. We're not allowed to sell it because it's Green Acres encumbered. And like I said, we didn't issue the debt. We're just managing it.
So are we seeing kind of the peak of the worst of this then?
Yes,
Yes.
we are now at the peak of the worst of it.
Just to be the next 2 years?
I'll have to defer to Tom.
We're going to see some debt relief next year, approximately $400,000. And then in the year 25, a lot of the larger.
You mean 2025?
2020.
It's 25, 25.
I'm thinking of that
I'm hoping that
I was thinking of the song. I think I was
25,
in the year
2020.
It's from all that moose you ate in Montana.
Yes.
Anyway.
Sorry, by 2025.
Yeah, 2025, a good chunk of the debt will be retired.
Yeah, but by 25, it's gone.
Well, agreed.
There was a 25-year bond awarded, right?
It was a 20-year bond, actually.
20 years,
But
sorry.
there were a couple years in which he had short-term notes at the beginning of the late 90s, early aughts.
Thank you.
So just in summary, again, I just want to stress that the increase that I'm asking for is about $750,000. Half of that is golf course debt, and the other quarter of that is the SRO program.
Right.
All right, anybody else on the budget before we move on? Come on, Ken.
By the way, I would have done better in school, but I was a kicker.
That's my excuse too, bud. That's my excuse too.
A couple of things. I'd like to see, I live in an older neighborhood. I didn't realize it, but Tom was good enough to drive through my neighborhood the other day, and he explained to me that I lived in an older neighborhood, which is okay. I've lived there 37 years. It was new when I moved in. But I would like to see a little bit more money spent on paving. I really think that, I don't know if what can do, but I think like Arrowhead, if you guys would pave Arrowhead, I think I could win my bet with Dan Myers.
So let's, because a lot of people talk about paving. Understand this. The town went through approximately a decade where they did not pave a road in this town unless they got grant money. Tom? Unless they got grant money, they didn't pave a road. So when we took over in 07 and just tried to get aggressive, and we've spent more money yearly than prior administrations in trying to pave. So you can grapple with this question. Do you want to go ahead and bond $50 million over 15 years? Would it be 15 or 20-year debt for paving? 15, 20? Right. So would you bond $50 million over 20 and then come up with a plan? But obviously that's going to raise taxes on a yearly basis for a long period of time. You know, or do you try to do what we do, which is try to address the worst roads, and then because the grant money is pretty much all dried up. So we're playing catch up, and these roads are deteriorating, especially with the winters that we've had in the last 7. These roads are deteriorating at an awful rate, and you know, so my development is only 11 years old, and very little travel. It's terrible. It's a bad road already. It's 11 years old, and it's a cul-de-sac. You know, so I think, to me, my opinion, the construction that has happened, the new home builders put poorly grade. I wish Bob Deanna was here because he talks about the type of grade of asphalt. Maybe Steve knows more about than I do. But I think the asphalt that they've used is awful, and it leads deterioration a lot quicker. And Ken, it's safe to say, we could right now, for all the traveling I do around, we could repave Country Farms, Briarwood, Mayfair. You should go on Annapolis and Lexington right now. I mean, Mayfair could use it. So there's a significant amount of roads that could use it. But we'd have to bond significant amounts of money.
Well, I'm not suggesting that you go out and bond, but I do think.
Well, how else are we going to pay for it?
Well, I think it seems that when you patch, it doesn't last but 2 weeks.
I agree. Patching is not the answer.
I don't know. I think you need to reevaluate your patching. I was out to a gun club the other day out in way out South Jersey.
You have one on you now?
Pardon?
You have your gun on you now?
No.
Okay, good.
Yeah. The policeman said I could bring it in, and I left. Anyway, I stopped at a hot patch place there. They said they had a sign, and I was talking to the guy, and he said that all the cities use the cheap method, and he said it doesn't last. So, you know, I don't see why we don't look at, maybe Steve could address this. I don't know what we could do, but they patch my road up all the time, but 2 weeks later, it's the pothole's back. So, you know, it's like...
You're a patch expert, Steve?
Is he referring to patching or the actual repair and rehabilitation of the road?
Well, the guy said he said a good method was to clean the hole, put tar in it, hot tar, and then put in the stuff, and it lasted a long time. But he said what the cities do, they just throw out a shovel full of that, and you know, the first rain it comes, it blows it away, and that's what happens in my neighborhood. And I just like to see it a little neater looking.
We all would, and we're doing our best to do it right now.
Can I ask, I apologize, but it's piquing a question. Okay, look, Green Tree Road, we know, was a pain, and they're paving it. Why aren't they doing East Murphy Road instead? They're both county roads. They should have diverted their money to that, because East Murphy Road is worse than Green Tree. I'm just saying.
It's on the list for
It's on the list for when? Next year. Timing-wise, it could have been. Sorry, I apologize.
So there's all we can go. We can go through the bypass. We can go through all that. I mean, there's just so many.
I was just curious
so
on how
many
you
roads.
chose that road versus East Murphy.
So, Mr. Mills, in your neighborhood, because we drove it together, and two things are happening. There's some instances where you receive a full hot patch, and that's the stuff that's solid and it's not moving, but it's much darker than the older original stuff, and it just doesn't look good. And that's stuff that we're able to do in the months where we can get hot patch, and it makes sense. We fill up the truck, we can go around and do that. In the winter months, we can't do that, and just to keep up, we do throw down something called cold patch, which really just is a temporary solution, and we recognize that. So, look, I'm right. This year we've budgeted in capital $1.7 million. I think that's one of our records in the past number of years. So we're doing more and more roads, and then what we're also doing is looking at all the roads we've done over the past 10 years and trying to do enough maintenance on them to make sure they don't deteriorate. And we're put back in a position where we have to mill and overlay them. So we can keep going down that list to do permanent.
Anything you drive anywhere in the Northeast, we have the issue. So, good question. Anything else on the budget, Ken?
No, I do have something else, but I'll wait till later.
Okay, great. Can't wait. All right, anybody else on the budget before we close the hearing on the budget?
Janice Noel, 304 Elm Terrace. Should I talk about roads now, since you were talking about that, or because?
Is it in the budget you're discussing the budget?
Ken Mills brought it up. I didn't know if we were talking about roads at this time.
No, he was talking about spending the money in the
The
budget.
$1.7 million, then what road projects are you doing this year for that $1.7 million?
We have a list on the website, don't we,
I
Tom
didn't see
Cole?
anything on the website,
We have a
no.
list.
No, so I'll tell you what we've recommended. Basically, Cambridge Park and parts of Kettle Run is what we've recommended. So that'd be Bon Air, Peabody, Shelburne.
Is Willow Bend Road on this year's, is going to be completed this year? There was a presentation
Yes.
a few months ago.
That was last year's capital.
That's going to happen this year. Okay, because I'm concerned about Kettle Run Road and Braddock Mill Road. You know that's a major thoroughfare from the southern portion of town to all the schools. Marlton Elementary, Marlton Middle, St. Joan of Arc, and Cherokee, all from the southern part of the town, and that road is atrocious. I don't know if you guys have ridden down that road.
They have written down it because when I was preparing the capital budget, they asked me to make sure.
That is
at
awful, more so than a development like Cambridge Park or Country Farms. These are not development roads, you know, they're major thoroughfares. So I think that should be pushed up further on the list. It is very, very bad. Just another comment, the budget presentation, Tom, there wasn't much in there about the budget. You presented a lot of stuff about 2016. Those comparison charts comparing us to where we are, sister towns. I didn't see anything much up there for 2017, and I'm wondering, are you going to present more on specifics on the budget next time? No, because you're voting on a special meeting.
If you tell me what you'd like to know.
More
about.
detail, like where is revenue coming from? Like when I went to the school board meeting, they had a spreadsheet where they showed us the actual, you know, the revenue and where the money is being spent. I didn't see that here, so it's difficult for me to really make any comments. There should have been more in that budget presentation, in my opinion. And the last thing is, you have a tax rate increase from 0.415 to 0.430. Do you have like the percent increase that's going to be for taxpayers? Did you calculate the percent?
Well, for the average home?
Yes.
Yeah. So for the average home, it'd be yearly $39.55, broken down quarterly $9.89, and broken down monthly $3.30.
Okay, so you have a tax cap, like the school district, a percentage?
We do have a cap, yes.
Okay, so what is the percent increase then?
The overall increase on the percentage?
Correct. Because I was confused about that.
Sure. Tom, do you have that percentage handy?
What did we do
I have
last
to
year?
go back and calculate it.
Okay.
We had a slight reduction last
And what did we do the year before?
reduction.
What did we do the year before?
I'm a taxpayer and I'm curious. I'm not going back all these years of what you did or did not do.
No, Ms. Knoll,
I'm just curious what the increase is.
Just so you know, this
year.
is my third or fourth time providing different types of budget information. And so I know in the three or four previous presentations I've done, that information's there.
Okay.
Never any questions,
Yes,
you know, so you kind of have to guess,
to get
you
more
know,
information, but that's
how
okay.
much does your audience want to hear?
We want more. I
So,
want more, but
I'll be happy to
Thank
share with
you.
you whatever you need, and I'm not
for the public.
withholding anything from
I
the
know.
public. This is my
But
fourth
the
time doing it.
presentation had a lot of 2016 information in it. I was a little disappointed that, and no disrespect. I understand there was no tax or whatever, but I was just curious what the percentage increase was going to be this year. So on the per average household is, what average is that you're using?
I didn't average it, it's just a dollar increase.
No, it says a 39.55 per average household. What is the average
Oh,
household?
$269,000.
269? Okay, thank you.
Okay, anybody else talking about the budget? All right, seeing there's none, close the hearing. Any motion to close the hearing on the budget?
So moved.
Need a second? All in favor? Aye. Okay. All right, so we're going to, now, when we have the special meeting, John, we're not going to have a public hearing again.
That's correct.
Okay. Public hearing's now closed. So we're going to do a motion to table Resolution 161-2017 for until next Tuesday, which is the 27th. Correct?
Correct.
All right, here we go. I need a motion to table Resolution 161-2017, please.
So moved.
Need a second?
Second.
Comments? Seeing there's none, Mayor Lou, please poll the council.
Mr. DeAndrea.
Aye.
Mr. Zoli.
Aye.
Mayor Brown.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0.
All right, anybody have comment on agenda items only, please step forward.
Rosemary, Bernardi, 10 Halifax, Port East. I have 4 items. First one is Resolution 166, 2017. Sorry, I have to take my glasses off. That is the appointment of the planning board member for the school board rep. Regarding, and I've been consistent on this point, I hope it's not the, and I hate to say it, sorry Sandy, I know you're in the room, but with the whole debacle with Evans and everything, the whole point of having the planning board, a school board member on the planning board is so that the planning board rep would then share the information of what's going on in town to the school board. That has not happened. And even still after the issues with Evans, there has not been any report out at the school board meetings from that planning board rep. So that is my expectation of what that representative's role is on the planning board. So I wasn't sure if you were appointing that same person.
By law, Mr. Gillespie, we do not have to appoint a school board member to the planning board. Is that correct?
Correct.
Thank you.
So you're not going to appoint a planning board member then?
By law, we do not have to appoint a school board member to the planning board. Okay? Thank you.
Well, all right, by law you don't have to. However, in the spirit of working together, I believe that was the intent of why that person was there. I'm just saying the person should still be, a person should be on the planning board. It shouldn't be the existing person. That's all I'm saying. The second item I have is 174-217. This is the resolution awarding contract for a professional service for the preparation and filing of a workable relocation plan for Tri-Town, and this is for Burger King. I understand that you're allocating $3,900 to develop some relocation plan for Burger King. I understand this is because in the redevelopment agreement, in the event that not all the parties could come to an agreement, the developer came to you to start the process for eminent domain for Burger King. So my question is, we're spending $3,900 for this to develop a plan, so now will the taxpayers then also be, I guess I'm not familiar with what that plan actually is, so what would be our portion then that would come out of the plan for the Burger King?
Mayor, can you respond?
Yeah.
The $3,900 is out of an escrow posted by the redeveloper. So there's no taxpayer money.
So he's paying for that? Okay. So, well, can I follow up then? Will, out of this plan though, will any, I don't even know what would be in the plan, would it be that Burger King would be housed somewhere and they would have to pay for it? So what kind of items would be in a particular relocation plan?
Well, the workable relocation action plan is governed by state regulations as to what the relocation expert addresses, but it may be finding another location. It may be, depending upon the economics, just a lump sum payment due to the franchisee. That's why we hire people who do that for a living and not me.
Oh, I understand that. So then any of those actions, would they be paid by the developer, or they would be
Correct.
paid by the, so the developer is
On the hook.
on the hook for all of it? Okay, thank you. So, sorry, then
All
why?
right, anybody else on agenda?
No, this is back to the 3,900. So why would we even have to pay for it if the developer is on the hook for it? Why
What do you
doesn't the
mean?
developer?
Because only the municipality.
Oh, the-
I want to make sure I don't start there. So, only the municipality has the authority to engage in eminent domain, to remove a party that has an interest in real estate. And here you have a sublessee who is operating the Burger King. You have a lessee, which is Burger King Corporation. The owner, which would normally be the party against whom the condemnation proceeding would be brought, is fully supportive of this and is actually funding it. A private party, however, has no authority to engage in eminent domain, and the workable relocation action plan is a function of the eminent domain proceeding.
Okay.
You need to do that in advance, so that's why we have to do it, because we're the only entity that has the muscle to do it.
Okay, thank you for the explanation. All right, the next item is 187, 217. That is playgrounds for country farms. Someone was asking, and actually it might be under 192, and maybe Nancy would know this. It's the playground for country farms. Someone was asking whether or not a bench could be included as part of that work. I guess when people take their kids to the playground. So I don't know if that was part of that work effort, if we could include a bench at country farms with that.
I'll have to look into that, but
Okay.
certainly we can add it.
All right. The next section is 192-217. This is the Burns crosswalk. And this is really just my own criticism in terms of the walkability in town, etc. I understand the Burns, if you've ever been there, the one side actually has a sidewalk. They put in a new sidewalk when they did the work for the crosswalk. And then on the other side of the Burns, so here's McDonald's, there's a new sidewalk, here's the crosswalk, and then here's just green path. So I'm not sure why we're not consistent in that whole crosswalk project, why the sidewalk was not connecting on the other side. So within this work effort, if we could then make sure that we're consistent in making sure the sidewalk is connecting to.
This is simply an agreement. It's a county road. It's simply an agreement that if we ever relocate this, we're ever doing a project, a town project in that area, we're responsible for relocating the crosswalk. It's a three-party agreement to install the crosswalk. The planning board handles those sort of matters with respect to developers and private companies doing projects.
Okay, so maybe we could follow up. I don't know who follows up then with the sidewalk for the Burns piece of that. So that's it. Thank you.
The board does a great job.
All right, anybody else on agenda items, please step forward.
In regards to resolutions 189 and 190, dash 2017, the tax abatements, I guess 5 years is better than 20. But I'm disappointed there's no funds for the school district, and I urge you guys to follow the lead of places like Jersey City and rewrite them so that the school districts get at least a portion of the funds for the period for this and all for future ones. I think Jersey City is doing 10% of what they receive goes to the school districts. I know that the View doesn't have any residences, but we still have the potential for the apartment building to at least put one kid in there, and that means all of us are subsidizing that instead of the property owner. So I'd like to see a little more equity. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else? All right, seeing there's none, close agenda items only. All right, on to second reading ordinances. We already tabled 14-16. We're now going to go to ordinance 15-16-2017. So, Ms. Mary Lou.
An ordinance to amend Chapter 3 of the Code of the Township of Evesham entitled Administrative Code, establishing the Departments of Recreation and Open Space and the Department of Public Affairs and Senior Services.
Okay, anybody in the public wishing to comment only on this ordinance, please step forward as I open public hearing. All right, seeing there's none, I need a motion to close public hearing.
So moved.
Need a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. I need a motion to adopt ordinance 15-6-2017, please.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion to adopt ordinance number 15-6-2017.
Need a second?
Second.
Mary Lou, please call again.
Mr. DeAndrea.
Aye.
Mr. Zuli.
Aye.
Mayor Brown.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0.
I miss Bob and Deb right now. All right, let's go to first reading ordinances. Miss Mary Lou.
Ordinance number 16-7-2017, public hearing will be July 18th, 2017. An ordinance of the Township of Evesham amending number 8-4-2017, entitled an ordinance to modify chapter 41 of the Code of the Township of Evesham, titled Abandoned Property, and to rename the chapter as Abandoned and Vacant Property.
Okay, I need a motion to introduce ordinance 16-7-2017, please.
So moved.
I need a second.
Second.
Comments?
I went through this. This is good. How are we doing with this?
Very well.
Very well.
Very well.
It was nice
I
today.
don't know what that means. All right, very
Today
well.
when I was I was on my run back in Cambridge Park. Two properties who were on this list
On
a year
Carlton.
ago.
Oh.
No, it was in the back. It was
Okay.
in on Carlton. Two properties who were on this list a year ago. People were moving it.
Good.
So I ran past today.
Of course, I
Really
walked
really well.
Carlton. I don't run, but I walked, and there's a couple on Carlton actually. If you go down there, that I think are on the list
Yeah.
because it needed some cleanup.
You know, I just want to say, council, you debated this ordinance, you weren't really sure about it, you know, but you wanted to take that next step, you spent a lot of time researching it, and I think it's having a real effect pushing banks to move property.
Oh, it has. And you know what? A lot of townships have copied us.
Yes.
A lot.
We've taken
Between
the lead on
this
I
and the
agree.
Save Lives program are the two questions I get the most by people to copy us. This ordinance and the other one. All right, Mary Lou, please call the council.
Mr. DeAndrea.
Aye.
Mr. Zuli.
Aye.
Mayor Brown.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. Ordinance number 7-7-2017, public hearings for July 18th, 2017. An ordinance of the Township of Evesham amending chapter 72 of the Code of the Township of Evesham entitled Fees. Establish fees for the Department of Recreations and Open Space and the Department of Public Affairs and Senior Services.
I need a motion to introduce ordinance 17-7-2017, please.
So moved.
Need a second.
Second.
All right. Comments?
No, sir.
Mary Lou, please call the council.
Mr. DeAndrea.
Aye.
Mr. Zuli.
Aye.
Mayor Brown.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. Ordinance number 18-7-2017, public hearing July 18th, 2017. An ordinance of the Township of Evesham, County of Burlington, State of New Jersey, adopting an amended redevelopment plan for certain properties for what are known as 42 and 52 East Main Street, Block 4.09, Lot 11 and 12, new Lot 11.01, and Block 4.09, Lot 15.
Okay, need a motion to introduce ordinance 18-7-2017, please.
So moved.
Need a second.
Second.
Comments?
No, sir.
Hearing there's none. Mary Lou, please call the council.
Mr. DeAndrea.
Aye.
Mr. Zuli.
Aye.
Mayor Brown.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. Ordinance number 19-7-2017, public hearing July 18, 2017. An ordinance of the Township of Evesham, County of Burlington, State of New Jersey, adopting a redevelopment plan for certain properties similar known as 55, 63, 65, 69, and 71 East Street, Block 4.10, lots 1, 3, 5.01, 5.02, 6, and 7.
Okay, need a motion to introduce ordinance 19-7-2017, please.
So moved.
I need a second.
Second.
Comments? Mary Lou, please call the council.
Mr. DeAndrea.
Aye.
Mr. Zuli.
Aye.
Mayor Brown.
Aye.
Motion carries 2-0.
All right, go through these resolutions. All right, I need a motion to adopt resolution 162-2017, please.
So moved.
I need a second.
Second.
Mary Lou, please poll the council.
Mr. DeAndrea.
Aye.
Mr. Zuli.
Aye.
Mayor Brown.
Aye.
Motion carries 2-0.
And just so you know, I was at the audit review meeting and nothing came up.
Right,
Thank you, Mr. Nihil.
yes, Bob, I just want to thank you for all your work, your team's work going through this, challenging us. My finance team, Tom and Liz and the people in the finance office, I tell you, I've been working, this is my fourth town, give audit reports for over 20 years, and the work that our staff does to make sure we get a clean audit is just phenomenal, and we're lucky to have everyone involved. So thank you.
All right, I need a motion to adopt 163-2017, please. Hello?
I'm sorry. Aye.
No, not an aye. Need a motion to adopt resolution.
I just made a comment on there because we didn't do
163.
the minutes. I apologize.
All right.
We gotta go back and do that. So moved.
I need a second.
Second?
Sorry about that.
Mary Lou, please poll the council.
Mr. DeAndrea.
Aye.
Mr. Zuli.
Aye.
Mayor Brown.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0.
Okay, here we go. I need a motion to adopt Resolution 164-2017, appointment of planning board member, inserting the name Steve Zulli, Class 3.
So moved.
So, Mr. Gillespie, we have three of us.
Wait a minute, hold on, are you on,
We're on 164.
164.
what happened to 163?
We just
We just
approved
approved it.
Huh?
We just approved it.
Aye.
162, the annual audit.
We did.
We did that before.
And then we just did 163.
All right, so 163, you're gonna have to rescind that.
Okay.
You don't have 2/3 vote.
Okay. That started my, sorry,
All
that was
right.
my little brain.
So just a motion to rescind your vote on 163, please.
All right.
So moved.
I need a motion to rescind 163-2017.
So moved.
There, need a second?
Second?
Mayor Lou, please poll the council.
Mr. DeAndrea.
Aye.
Mr. Zuli.
Aye.
Mayor Brown.
Aye.
Would you please move to table 163 to the June 27th meeting?
All right. Need a motion to table 163-2017, please.
So moved.
Need a second?
Second?
Mayor Lou, please poll the council.
Mr. DeAndrea.
Aye.
Mr. Zuli.
Aye.
Mayor Brown.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0.
Yeah, I apologize. That's why it caused my little delay. I was looking at it, thinking that we didn't have,
On 164, you mentioned that the name was going to be Mr. Zulli. I would recommend, even though Mr. Zulli is absolutely privileged to vote for himself to the planning board, it is a non-compensatory position. Somebody on the council has to be the Class 3 member, but this is a town in which just a year ago, ethics complaints were brought against you because you put Mr. Chinetsky on the MUA, which was also fully permissible by law. Absolutely done in many places. But that led to an ethics complaint, which notwithstanding that the ethics local finance board found that that complaint did not have a reasonable factual basis. Why put yourself in that position again? So I would recommend you table this resolution to June 27th again, so you don't have to go through that nonsense.
Okay. Let's have a motion to table Resolution 164-2017, please.
So moved.
Need a second?
Second?
All right. Mayor Lou, please poll the council.
Mr. DeAndrea.
Aye.
Mr. Zuli.
Aye.
Mayor Brown.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0.
Okay. So, John, on resolution, can we insert three names on the same resolution there?
You can.
Okay. All right, so I need a motion
These
to...
are all Class 4?
Correct.
These are all Class 4s. Yep. Need a motion to adopt Resolution 165-2017, appointment to the Planning Board, Class 4 residents, Jay Parikh, Alicia Marone, and Jay Levinson.
So moved.
I need a second.
Second?
Comments? All right. Mary Lou, please poll the council.
Mr. DeAndrea.
Aye.
Mr. Zuli.
Aye.
Mayor Brown.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0.
All right. I need a motion to table need a motion to table Resolution 166-2017 and 167-2017, please.
So moved.
I need a second.
Second?
Mary Lou, please poll the council.
Mr. DeAndrea.
Aye.
Mr. Zuli.
Aye.
Mayor Brown.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0.
Mayor,
Aye.
before you
Yes, sir.
continue, are they tabled indefinitely? Because if they're going to go on for June 27, Mary Lou's going to have to give notice of it. If they go on to the July regular meeting, she doesn't have to do anything.
Do we have to make a decision right this minute, or can we make that tomorrow?
You can make it tomorrow morning. It still gives time to get it to the paper so that they could publish it in Sunday's paper.
Okay. Okay, we'll make the decision tomorrow when to put it on. Thank you. All right, I need a motion to adopt Resolution 203-2017, appointment of planning board member, Class 2, Environmental Commission, and insert the name Dominic Mondi.
So moved.
I need a second.
Second?
Mary Lou, please poll the council.
Mr. DeAndrea.
Aye.
Mr. Zuli.
Aye.
Mayor Brown.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0.
Okay. go. This is just gonna be, so we're gonna do two here first. All right, I need a motion to adopt resolution 168-2017, appointing regular member, 4-year term to expire 6/30/2021, Al Lutner. Regular member, 4-year term to expire 6/30/2021, Dan Myers. And unexpired 4-year term to expire 6/30/2019, Roberta Hoyle. Okay,
So moved.
I need a second.
Second?
Mary Lou, please poll the council.
Mr. DeAndrea.
Aye.
Mr. Zulli.
Aye.
Mayor Brown.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0.
All right, I need a motion to adopt resolution 169-2017, appointment to zoning board alternate 1, Mr. Robert Osno, please.
So moved.
Need a second.
Second?
Mary Lou, please poll the council.
Mr. DeAndrea.
Aye.
Mr. Zulli.
Aye.
Mayor Brown.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0.
Okay. So same thing, Mr. Gillespie, we're going to do the same thing in table 170, 173, and 159. We'll make a decision in the morning, okay?
Sure. So that motion should be made then.
All right, so I need a motion to table resolutions 170-2017, 173-2017, and 159-2017, please.
So moved.
Need a second?
Second?
Mary Lou, please poll the council.
Mr. DeAndrea.
Aye.
Mr. Zulli.
Aye.
Mayor Brown.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, here we are. You know what, before we do that, let's just do your minutes real fast here.
Yes.
Okay? All right, I need a motion to adopt the minutes, May 9th, 2017 regular session and May 9th, 2017 executive, please.
So moved.
Need a second?
Second?
Okay, Mary Lou, please poll the council.
Mr. DeAndrea.
Aye.
Mr. Zulli.
Aye.
Mayor Brown.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0.
Okay, consent agenda. All right, the consent agenda. I will entertain a motion for approval of the consent agenda.
I move for approval of the consent agenda, including the listed motions.
Okay, let's go through that and make sure there's anything we have to take. You did really well with that, didn't you?
Great.
Mayor,
Yes.
staff has a change for 189 and 190. We just have to add a sentence or two to the end. So I would ask Nancy, when you're ready, for her to read those.
201 and 202, sorry.
Oh, that's the renumber.
Sorry.
201, 202. Okay.
So you just want Nancy to read them into the record then?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Want me to do it?
Yes, please.
So on resolution 201, if we could amend the number 1 and the now therefore be it resolved section to include that the township solicitor is hereby authorized to undertake whatever legal action should be necessary to recover the penal sum of the aforesaid maintenance guarantee posted for the improvements should the guarantee not be extended as indicated by the applicant to complete the work.
Okay.
There's some teeth.
Well, it's very
And
impressive.
On
John wrote it
resolution
down.
number 202/2017, the same, but I'll read it into the record. So under the now therefore be it resolved, item 1, that the township solicitor is hereby authorized to undertake whatever legal action should be necessary to recover the penal sum of the aforesaid maintenance guarantee posted for the improvements should the guarantee not be extended as indicated by the applicant to complete the work. And both of these are for the Sharps Run Senior Fernmore Homes development.
I'm scared nobody got taken the action.
Thank you.
Okay. Any separations? Okay, seeing there's none. Any comments in that group there?
Yes, sir, 2. For 197, 198, I know Mr. Dan is not here, but obviously he would be saying something about both of them are cancellation, refund of property taxes for veterans.
Okay.
That's good. The second one, for 193, the agreement on the SRO, it's that start, which is great, so then we move to the next step. Okay, understood. So I'm glad to see that's at least somewhere. Thank you.
Mary Lou, please poll the council.
Mr. DeAndrea.
Aye.
Mr. Zulli.
Aye.
And Mayor Brown.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0.
Okay, all right, anybody in the public wishing to comment, please step forward. All right, seeing there's nobody else in the public wishing to comment, public comment is now closed. Staff comments, Mary Lou, Caitlin, you got anything?
Nothing, just got the special meeting.
All right, you guys have anything down there? No, you have nothing? Nothing? Bob? Tom? Tim? Tom?
Here, three quick things. One is we are in possession of the best Olga's sign that was remaining.
Yes.
Olga's. And what we'd like to do at our next meeting where we have all the council members is do do a Photoshop of where we might be able to put that sign somewhere and get your input.
I love it.
Like
Where are we going to put the sign?
Where are we going to put that sign?
Right,
That's the question.
No, right at the circle. I might as well just give it.
A circle? You gotta get children to go walking over there.
I didn't say, am I going to do walk to see the sign? All right, this is very fascinating.
Yes, we've had all sorts of.
As long as they're paying for everything, that's fine. They meaning the developer. I'm okay. Where are you going to put the sign in your house?
I prefer to put it right at the dining. Everybody gets to see it. Pictures. Yes, we have a private donor who's paying for it.
Thank God it's a private
Who's
donor.
donating, which is great.
So we will be revisiting.
I didn't realize this was actually coming to fruition.
Oh yeah, we're getting there.
Have it, and
We're close.
Tom Cole's very nervous that his new public works yard is going to become a storage facility. Items such as this. The second thing I just want to mention to council is we are going to be, we typically have 36 patrol cars in the parking lot, and we think we've reached that time with all the activity that goes on at the baseball complex. I would like to designate some areas just for our police vehicles, just having like way too many excited players banging bats and things like that into our vehicles, and we want to be somewhere also where we can escape rather quickly with them if we need to, that doesn't conflict. So we're going to be designating the parts of the parking lot by New Road as police parking only. And then the last thing I just wanted to mention, I don't have statistics for you today. Tom Cole's working on them, but your policy for limiting the amount of construction trash to be brought to the yard is really having a dramatic impact. Our residents are very understanding. I think they're appreciative of the limited amounts they have, but we're certainly seeing a huge drop-off in volume from the contractors.
And I have visited with the freeholders this week to try to get an agreement to get pickup twice a week on the recycling.
I did look into that. It was only about 6 months ago. We had.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Recycling this weekend. I go to the yard pretty much every Saturday and drop boxes off and on.
Yeah.
This Saturday, they had been almost 11, 12 days without picking up.
Oh, you're talking about the county picking up
the recycling
from the public works.
From public works.
I got it. I thought you
So
meant
we're
doing
trying
a
to
week
work
at
through
my
that
house or
right now to
something.
get that
that'd be
done.
great.
But I just want to add about the trash, because you know that's always sensitive when you make changes to what people can bring and can't bring. But council, in the course of you reviewing the budget line item by line item, this is something you guys spotted, and you had the
foresight
and the guts to put up with the criticism that would come with that. But it's paying off, and I think we executed it well.
Thank you, Tom. John, you got anything?
Actually, I just want to tell you this, that Kate and I moved here 31 years ago this week.
Wow.
And I'll turn 62 for a few more weeks,
Hmm.
which means that I am now officially having spent half my life in.
All right.
Couldn't be happier.
Right. That's awesome. Congratulations.
We're 100%.
Jordan had a very nice post about you on Father's Day this weekend. I saw that. Monica? You ready? Okay. All right. So what we've got, what I had is a couple comments during public comment. during council comments. So what we'll do, council, is put it up. So you can go to the first one. Okay. So it's been 15, 16 months since the first Evans vote of 2016. And I will brag. We told you so. So the enrollment today, it's very close, 4460 overall enrollment. Sundance, I'm holding in my hand like Johnny Carson, holding in my hand the Sundance demographics that the township did last year. And 2017, they said the enrollment would be 4,466. They were off by 6 humans, which it could be 466 today. I don't know who signed up in the last 2 weeks. Whitehall, who I'm holding in my hands, which is the demographic report that the existing board members and the board members in 2016 used to vote, said there would only be 4,276 children. And that is a difference of 184. Just to give you an example, there's only 311 children in DeMacy. So, you're going to be entering a school year with about 200 more children than what you thought you were going to do. Now, it gets even one step better.
Graduate.
So Whitehall says, right here, holding in my hands, Whitehall, Sundance. Whitehall says in 2018, you're only going to have 4,173 children. So that means you're going to be down 300 children. So does anybody in the room actually believe we're losing 300 children in 15 months?
Graduation.
So, Nancy, we still have approvals coming in for housing in Evesham, don't we? Okay. So, we told you so. All right, next one. All right, lease. Okay. So the BOE has a proposed lease of the property. Okay. So, of the Evans property. And these are all raw numbers because, of course, there's no lease out for public consumption. Even though there's a meeting in 48 hours, there's no lease for public consumption. So all we can really do our best is guess. So we've got approximately $600,000 in a lease amount. Tax implications are approximately $200,000. So it leaves us with $400,000 as a net. Now, question is what is the real net amount? Okay? What's the real net amount? I'm assuming there are still custodial staff who are on duty. Matter of fact, I know that 2 of them have told teachers that they are being held on. So what's our net? You know, maybe 3, maybe 250 is a real net. So to really dive into the numbers as far as it being a good business deal or not a good business deal, you have to find out what is the tuition rates that these private schools charge. So the tuition rate per student is approximately $60,000 per student. And when the child, from what we've been told by the high school districts around, when a child enters, they have to be guaranteed up till age 22, which would be about $480,000 from, I would say, 9th grade through age 22. So the question is this. It's, if you're netting $200,000, $300,000, an $80 million budget, and then on top of it, you've got taxpayer funded at $60,000 a child, my guess is if they have 100 children in there, it's going to be $6 million in revenue. If they have 150 children, it'd be $9 million in revenue. So this lease, I don't see how it could be less than $1.5 million, $2 million to make any sense. But all I'm asking for is, what is the real net? And how about the questions of who's going to clean it? Who's paying for the electricity? How much of the building are they using? Who's going to use the playground? Who's going to use the gym? So you can go all the way through, and then If you read an article, which I'll post later tonight, on NJ.com from 3 years ago, written by the Newark Star Ledger, was Medford immediately saw an uptick of 10 students in their first year when it went to Medford. So if that happens here, that's $600,000. So, listen, my wife's a special education teacher. I'm an advocate of Yale. I believe they should have a place in our town. But what I believe is when you got a bad deal, you got a bad deal. So this has to be a much better deal than what it is.
I'm not really following what you're saying entirely about the Yale school and the number, but so the board members don't have the lease to look at yet?
Sandy, do you have a lease yet?
No, we have not seen it. Our discussion of finance after we were told it was still in the attorney review.
Okay.
So I've not seen a lease. We did get an RFP.
But you don't have a lease?
No lease.
Thank you.
I think that's pretty important. I mean, I know if it was on our side of the table that we would have had that lease quite a while ago, and we would have been. Because there's a, not that I'm a real estate expert, but John, you know, in the lease, there's so many items that are important to the overall value of the lease that I think it's really important that not just the board members, but the public have a chance to look at that lease.
You guys have always had, and Debbie, you've always had the documents well in advance if you're having to vote on anything. Along with summaries, either from Tom, Nancy, me, whoever it is.
Yeah.
You've had that. You know
exactly, either a
you
summary
know what you were voting
or even the whole lease detail.
I don't think we would ever be so presumptuous as to say, trust us, just vote on it.
Nothing else to say. One step forward, three steps back.
Okay, last one.
Oh, there's more.
Oh, yeah. SROs. Okay, so when you dig a little deeper, and for those of you that don't believe, you're welcome. I put little copies right up there you can take home with you. Or Rosemary, you can film it when you're done. This is what we got directly from the New Jersey Department of Education Office of School Finance, 2017-2018 projected state school aid. So when you go through, and I'll read it just quickly. Equalization aid, emergency adequacy aid, choice aid, transportation aid, special education aid, security aid, under adequacy aid, supplemental enrollment growth aid, park aid, per pupil aid. Let me go backwards. Security aid. All right, let me go say it one more time. Security aid. So Evesham Township Board of Education this year is slated to receive $347,614 in school security aid. So when we dug deeper and went backwards, we found over the last 10 years, right here, that the Evesham Township School District had approximately $3.5 million in school security aid. Over the last 20 years, they brought in approximately $7 million in school security aid. So, as you know with the SRO program, that program cost us approximately $700,000 out of our budget this past year to use. And it was a big success, as we know. $700,000 out of our police budget for that. The school district has said they are only going to pay $250,000 towards that. So, that will mean significant changes to the program. 2017-2018 school year, due to a lack of Evesham Township School District funding and participation, is the reason why there will be significant changes to the SRO program. When the district has gotten aid specifically for school security. Tom Shanahan, have you ever gotten a check in all the years you've been here from the Evesham Township School District for school security?
I think there was 50,000 last year, possibly 50,000.
Okay.
But nothing other than that.
First year, that was before. Okay. Did you get $347,000? All right, so we know there's funding out there. We know that that's what they've been given. So we move on for what we have today. and that is the board, some members of the board, some members have decided that they only want to spend $250,000 for a program that costs $700,000.
We made the decision as a council based upon some of the feedback that we had from residents last year, and also the gut feeling that we had about the necessity for the security in our schools. And we made a decision last year to fund the program with perhaps misguided anticipation that the school board would pick up the ball and run with it when their budget came into a line and they'd be able to fund the program. And I don't think that decisions like these should be made solely on budgets, and certainly not on politics. But the fact is that the security of our kids needs to be addressed. And I think that there's probably going to be changes made to the program. I'm just saying that. But as far as any of the details, that'll be left up to the chief and the school board and the administration to make those adjustments. And suffice to say that those adjustments probably will be made on funds, as opposed to just the necessity of going ahead with the program. So we'll leave the details up to the chief and the administration and the school board as to what level of funding they want to make on the program and what's going to be done as far as the implementation. That's all I have to say.
Kenny?
Well, no, I was hoping that there was going to be a meeting of the minds of some sort. Unfortunately, from what I gathered, that did not take place. That the expectation was with the chief and some board members on both sides that we get together in a non-binding way and try and work this out. Hopefully that still can happen, but at this point, we're at least moving forward with the program in some fashion.
So let's go on that. Okay, for the record, over the last couple of weeks, this council has addressed multiple members of the school board, including the president. And we have asked for meetings for the policymakers. We had asked for meetings of the elected officials with elected officials, the only ones sitting in the room. We have been denied multiple times. So, Mr. Gillespie, you were asked to write an opinion on the school district, on their opinion that said that what we were asking for would circumvent the Sunshine Law. So could you tell us, Mr. Gillespie, what we were trying to do? Was that circumventing the Sunshine Law?
Was this the question of whether or not subcommittees of the governing body could meet with the subcommittee of the school board?
That is correct.
That is absolutely not a circumvention because the Open Public Meetings Act specifically authorizes and says a subcommittee, a committee of less than a quorum of the full majority of the full body would not be a meeting. So subcommittees of bodies meet all the time because one, sometimes you can't schedule it in time to comply with the Open Public Meetings Act. You get people when you can get them to have these meetings to try and promote open conversation. So subcommittees are used frequently. They're used internally by boards and by councils to meet with staff, right? So that you don't have to wait for a regular meeting to be scheduled or a special meeting to be scheduled. And the Open Public Meetings Act specifically provides that is a permissible means of having those discussions. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with a subcommittee of the Township Council and a subcommittee of the school board getting together to have a discussion.
And let me say, I credit some of the board members, those of you that I've spoken with, and I appreciate the time, and I know that some of the council members do. I'm overly disappointed in Joanne Harmon, who is president of the school board. I'm the elected mayor. She's president of the school board. I've reached out to her multiple times to silence and crickets. I've asked her multiple times, can we just even have a phone discussion to discuss this? Nothing. That's your elected officials. Are they representing you, or are they representing the administration of the school district? I've asked that question multiple times, and I continue. Actions speak louder than words. Joanne Harmon does not represent you, the residents. She represents the administration. It's that simple, and has been. I spoke with Jeff Bravo the other day. I appreciate Jeffrey. He's always had time to have a conversation. But I challenged Jeff, because when I was going through the voting records today, I don't think he's voted anything different than what Joe Fizzicara Jr. has whispered in his ear and told him how to vote. That's it. Wherever Joe Fizz votes, Jeff Bravo votes. And you know what? It's time for Jeff to step up and make a decision what is best for the community and not what Joe Fizzicara tells him to do. So these are obvious. There's big votes on Thursday, and it's time to put the residents first. Put the taxpayers and the residents first. Okay. On that?
I don't even know how to follow.
You good?
But no, I'm not. Oh,
No, on the.
Oh, on that. Yeah.
Good on that?
Yeah.
Good on that?
I'm good.
Oh, council comments?
Yeah.
Let's switch gears. I don't even know where to begin. Again, congratulations to all the graduates from Cherokee and all the neighboring high schools, as well as tomorrow both DMS and MMS graduates. So I'm looking forward to both of those ceremonies, and I will be attending both. The English House, I do want to bring that up because, Tom, you know, and Tim, I've talked about this ad nauseum about kind of doing a little bit of a lead. Can you, for at least for the next meeting, let me know where we're at so I can, because I like to press onward and talking with the folks there. I really like to see if we're anticipating dollars and cents, like in July, maybe we can front it now. You know what I mean? It's a timing, anticipating note, kind of thing. I'm sorry, go ahead, Nancy, did you?
If you do the work, you void the grant, and we're gonna get free money for it.
Okay, well then I didn't know that, so.
The entire sidewalk at no cost to the township.
Okay, so from a timing perspective, we need the grant dollars to come in.
Yes.
All right,
Yes.
then we need to press on the timing of getting that done. So,
I expect, Mr. DeAndrea, that we'll know.
What's that, English?
so that's next week, or?
No.
All right.
Meeting. I think we'll hear by then, but I will double check that.
Please.
Let you know.
Please do.
Yes.
Okay, the next thing again, 4th of July. Again, if you have any questions about the parade or any of the day events, since I'm pretty much dealing with that, please let me know. And then finally, again, I'm still looking at an open door to say if we wanted to talk with the SRO and see what happens. But that's it, sir.
Thank you. Councilman Zulli, Deputy Mayor.
Two quick things. Tom, the residents that spoke here today, they all had one common concern about the budget, and that was road program. So I think maybe we should get together and tweak a little bit, see if we can find a couple more bucks to put in the road program.
That's a good point. I agree with that.
The second thing is, I saw Phil just left. Hey, Phil, you mentioned about the golf course, and I think it's important to note that yes, you are very astute. Your observations and your investigation is correct, okay, except for one thing. It was a mess over there. We have a plan now to get out of that in a reasonable time frame and to make some sense. Yeah, it's painful, and you are absolutely correct. It's costing us a lot of money. We don't have a choice. But now we have a plan, and we have people and processes and a structure in place to take care of that, instead of just, let's see what happens. So yeah, you are correct. It's a lot of money. We don't have a choice, but we got a plan now.
Good. I was just going to end on the golf course there because we inherited, and we've said it Those of you that have heard us here, broken record. The golf course has been a debacle since the day it took an oath in 2007. But what we have now under the leadership of Bob Hennifer and Curtis Montgomery, those guys, Curtis Kirkpatrick, Curtis Montgomery, the other golfer. Wait till you tell Curtis Montgomery I told him that. We have great leadership. We're bringing in revenue that we've never brought in before. We're bringing in outings. The course is in as good of a shape as it's ever been. So kudos to that, because every dollar that you don't bring in is one more dollar the taxpayer's got to pay towards that debt. So, but yes, without that debt, it's an amazing golf course. So, all right, any motion to adjourn? I need a second. All in favor? Aye. Good night. Good night.
Yeah, the council meeting's over. The mayor saved his remarks for the end. He was typical mayor.